So I'll do like a intro afterwards. You can move however you need to.
Let's see. There we go. It's a nice setup.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been years. I was really big into like investing in myself. One second, I'm gonna put my beanie on. Shake my head. Like really taking all the money that like early on with a drunken night out because of the show and a damn, I'm gonna grab my water. It's a fucking show and it's a show and a podcast, and so I would take all of my live show money and I would just throw it at like shit, like all of the stuff that's in the room.
Nice. It's like literally, just literally
reinvesting it, 100%.
So weird to think of like ourselves as the business.
Yeah, a lot of comics don't. And that's why a lot of people stay where they're at because it's a fucking business, and people just don't understand that. They're just like, I like the art, and I'm like, yeah, I like the art too, but I like the money.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's bad examples of the off occasion where someone is in it for the art, but somehow like can make it just based on like someone sees them, they're like, fuck it, come on tour, or something like that, and that ends up like working out.
That's like how it used to be though. That was like the model back in the day, and every once in a while that kind of shit still happens. Like that's honestly how I got to work with Nimesh, where I was doing Chicago theater. I got to open for him, and then he was just like, oh, you're funny as shit, where are you from? And I was like, Chicago. And he was like, oh, I'm going to be doing a theater later in the year. And that was like back in January. And so just got lucky. Like it was like the talent got you there, but 90% of the time it's like all networking and business and doing all the fucking business savvy shit that nobody really wants to do, but you have to do now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And we all have social anxiety. So like networking is like, it's difficult, but
it doesn't help when I used to be drunk all the time. So it's like, I look back on that, I'm like, damn, bro, I was fucking drunk. I was talking to somebody last night at the Lincoln Lodge, and they were like, do you remember this? And I was like, no, man, I was drunk every time that you have interacted with me. Like, I carry myself well, but I will not remember any of these interactions. Like, my brain is just going to delete the shit. Like, I was drunk, not useful information. Let's get rid of it.
You gotta cling to the things that help us live. Are you sober now?
Yeah, I've been sober for, what would it be? Was it August or September? August 14th of last year.
Okay.
So what is it now? November? August, damn. So 15 months, 16 months. Sobriety. Yeah. I still smoke weed. There's like tons of weed over there. Not raw dogging life completely, but right. Definitely I'll get high probably like twice or 3 times a week or something like that. I don't smoke as much as I used to drink.
Right. Well, yeah, but on weed, you're never gonna get stab stories probably, or
I don't know, maybe.
Or well, maybe, but
yeah. Just see what it feels like. Everything feels better. That's like the main reason why I smoke weed is like everything tastes better when you're high, and everything feels better. And so I'm like, I just want to fucking feel stuff again. Man. Yeah. So I'll like smoke and be like, I'm gonna get a bunch of candy and some good food, and then I'm gonna smoke. And then all this shit's gonna taste better. That's like I don't know if it actually does or not.
I think you're just hungrier when you're high.
Oh,
so
for
it's
sure.
Like, it feels, you're like, this is the best food because I thought I was starving.
My brain is telling my body that I'm hungry. Yeah, that shit. I don't know how people do that. I don't know if everybody gets the munchies, but I will not stop eating when I get high. Like that's the main reason. Like that's part of the reason why I don't smoke all the time because I'll be fat as fuck if I do. And I'm a little too vain to get fat as fuck. So all right, we could only smoke a couple times a week.
Thankfully, I smoked my way out of that. Like I
smoked your way out of it. What the fuck does that mean?
I think I just ended up, and I've slowed down a bit now, but like I was just smoking a lot, and so just at one point I just realized like that I didn't get the munchies, like, and because I wasn't also like I was getting like kind of high.
So you got like way too high, like so high that you don't realize that you're hungry.
I think it was actually there was like probably just more tolerance, so I was getting less high or feeling less high, and so also not feeling the munchies or anything like that. because I smoke spliffs pretty much exclusively. Yeah. So I think it was more.
It's like a Middle Eastern thing, dude.
A little bit.
A lot of Africans smoke spliffs too.
Yeah, mine is from white European kids with dreadlocks.
So just completely blowing my theory up out of the water. I'm like, yeah, Middle Eastern. You're like, yeah, white kids with dreadlocks.
Yeah, I wish I could. I mean, I'm half Palestinian. Like, I wish I could be like, oh no, yeah, all my uncles smoked hashish or something. It's like, nah, they're all straight edged.
Like not just the white kids with dreadlocks. They were smoking the spliffs all the time. Dang. Okay.
Well, and I was like, oh, this is great because I've now cut my weed consumption in half. It's like cutting cocaine with baby powder, but it's like this is how you stretch an eighth when you're broke.
Yeah, but all right. So are you a bigger smoker or drinker then? What's your preferred method?
Bigger smoker.
Okay.
But I definitely I still love like a couple cocktails and just like the feeling because I'm just better when I'm a little bit buzzed. Okay. Like I drop all my like kind of anxieties and stuff like that. I can interact with people a little just a bit more openly. But then there is like a crescendo, like a bell curve where it's like, it makes me better until it makes me way worse.
What's your number? What's your like number where you're like, oh, this is not helping anymore?
Probably around 6. I think 6 drinks.
That's a solid number.
And then yeah, everything is, I'm going to either put my foot in my mouth or my fist through a wall or
or both.
Yeah. I'm going to regret something.
Okay, fuck it. All right.
Which is also stupid because I normally have way more than 6.
Damn. Okay, so you don't have like a shut-off valve then. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why I stopped drinking because I didn't have the shut-off valve. Okay.
Yeah, I've been a blackout drinker since the first time I drank. So
wait, you swung for the fences on the first time? First time you drank, you were like, I'm swinging for the fence. Let's get out of here.
We just had the first time I ever drank. I mean, and drank to get drunk. It was me and 2 guys, and we had 24 cases of Bud Light. We were just driving around the city of Houston.
So drinking and driving.
Well, that's what you do in Houston, though. We were just kind of getting practice before, the real serious times when you have a job to worry about that you could get fired from.
Can lose stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can make those mistakes as a kid. Well, you can't. Sometimes you run people over, but we were lucky. Yeah. But yeah,
you didn't get caught.
I got caught by my mom. It was
the very first time you're drinking and driving and got caught by.
Yeah, we drank all that beer. Ended up at a hookah bar.
Drank all 24 packs.
All both 48.
So 48 beers
between the 3 of us.
Okay, I was thinking 2 people. I'm like, Jesus.
No.
That's still a lot though. Between 48 beers.
Oh yeah, it was way too much. My friends had been drinking a while. Okay, for a while already. Like
How old were you?
I was 14 or 15, I think.
14 years old and your friends have been drinking for a while already. You said it like you're like in your mid-20s, like, oh yeah, my friend is 28, so he's been drinking 14, bro. Yeah. Like, they're professionals at this point. They've done it all.
They both had older brothers. And damn. So like everyone I knew that had an older brother, I felt like kind of became an adult earlier or something. And well, at least their parents didn't care as much.
Got you.
And so like they had both of my friends had like absolutely no parental supervision. So, but yeah, no, it is kind of funny. It's being like, no, they've been drinking for a while again. We're freshmen in high school.
It's not a while. That's your balls barely dropped.
Yeah. I think one of them, they probably hadn't yet.
Like, well,
he still had baby fat.
Still really chubby. Yeah. No facial hair, no body hair. It's definitely no balls haven't dropped. Jimmy's balls are still intact, snug to the body.
Oh man. Yeah. I think we were all right there. And so had all that, ended up at a hookah bar that sold booze to underage kids. No, it was a BYOB.
Okay, gotcha.
But you could be underage and drink there.
Okay.
And some girl gave me like this big gulp, and it had some rum in it, but I didn't know like what the distribution is. And like I just literally I like woke up, kind of like not like woke up, but I blacked out and then came to, and I was at the back door of my house.
Oh, shit.
And I was like having trouble getting the key in. So I was like, I'm just going to take a nap and then I'll try again in the morning.
That is not good. That's boy logic. You're 14 years old, right? And you're like, nah, I'm going to sleep on the porch and let my parents find me. And then I'll try to come back inside. That is insane. You didn't think to just leave? You were like, I'm going to sleep on the porch.
It was, well, because my friends, they dropped me off and then they had to go, they took themselves home.
Yeah,
so it was
and Houston's big as fuck, so they probably an hour away or some shit.
Yeah, one of them lived like in my neighborhood, but one of them lived like way, way across town. So yeah, and it was his car. It was his dad's expedition.
Oh my God! You guys are drinking and driving.
You're driving a tank hammered 14.
You're just a news report comes out. 3 14-year-olds destroy a little town.
Yeah,
like an expedition.
One wrong turn and you just destroy an entire trailer park.
Yeah, expedition is no joke, bro.
It's hard to drive sober, and. But yeah, and then my mom came home from her own party and found me asleep on the back steps. Damn. And then like she like got me in, and as soon as we get in the house, I started puking. No. And so she was nice about it. She like put a pillow under my knees because it was a tile floor in the bathroom.
Okay.
And then the next day, I got grounded for 6 months.
Damn.
And I also had to write a paper on the long-term effects of alcohol abuse.
That is very proper of your parents.
Oh yeah. Well, and she had a drinking problem, so I was like, I hope she reads this.
You're like, this is for you, Mom.
Yeah.
I want you to read all
this is my first time.
Yeah, you're like, I have seen the long-term effects. Your kids are sad that mommy's always drunk.
The paper is just observations of what she's done.
Like, mommy wakes up late to take us to school. Mommy gets fired because she's drunk at work.
Yep.
She's like, all right, I wanted you to write about the long-term effects for you, not me. Mommy's working on herself, all right?
Yeah, thank God for the Encyclopedia Britannica, or else it would have been really obvious what I was doing. I threw some citations in there and everything.
You're like, mommy gets fired according to like MLA format.
Yeah, apparently if you drink more than 2 glasses of Red Label a day, you get very violent with your family members.
Page 167.
Line 35. See notes for detail.
Oh shit, that's fucking hilarious. You got caught on the first time.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, and you swung for the fence. That's impressive as hell. Like that's a lot of liquor. That kind of sets you up for drinking.
Yeah, I think it was just like kind of indicative of like of all of my drink, and like most of my decisions are often just like I take it way too far, and like because I get like really into it, and then I get a little bipolar. Yeah. And then I get way too into it, and it's just like, if 5 is good, then 15's awesome.
Better, so. yeah, for sure. That's 100% where I'm at. I'm like, I don't like to be buzzed. That is a waste of time. We're swinging for the fences every time. I want to keep going. I want to see what's in Pandora's box. I am opening the box, dog. I didn't just go on this voyage to find the box. I want to open the bitch. I want to see what's in there. Yeah, I'm with you, dude.
I like that. You're like a chemist running experiments on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if I just add a little bit more of the blue liquid, a little bit more of the clear stuff.
Right,
look, it exploded.
All right. Now next time we'll see if we can do that again, but add a little bit more to see what happens there. All right, that's me every time.
Well, cheers to water.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I've been asking this question a lot. Have you done any like psychedelics? Do you Okay. Do you love them? Do you hate them? What's your thoughts? Because I'm trying to get people to, because I'm on the side of no, I won't fuck with them, and so I get people to tell me their experiences on psychedelics, if they love them, if they
I got you.
People.
I don't know if my story is going to convince anyone positively. Like, I haven't actually had great experiences on mushrooms. Like, it's either like So I'll just forget it. They've been like mostly the same trips and like mostly negative.
Okay.
I did an ayahuasca trip, and I love ayahuasca because it's a long one, and it will take you through the bad part, but it also kind of take you through the good part, or it'll allow you to take yourself through the good part.
Okay.
And my experience was, at the time I was a very kind of violent person, like especially when I would have too much drink. I was getting into bar fights constantly.
Dude,
and
you don't come off like the bar fight guy.
Well,
you do not have like that energy. I'm like, I can't imagine you being like, I'm getting in bar fights. You're like the guy that's like, hey guys, let's just all hug this out. That's like the energy you give off. Well, that's really good. That you don't have
I appreciate that
crazy killer energy. Man.
I think my anger has always come from I want love, and I want everyone to hug each other. But then when someone like breaks that like rule, then I'm like, well, like now you have to die.
all right, I fuck with that.
But also it didn't help. So I used to be much bigger. I played rugby and was probably about like 40 or 50 pounds heavier of mostly solid muscle.
Yeah.
Thank you, cocaine. Weight loss program. You can do Jenny Craig or some Colombian coffee. Yeah. But so I also got it. I had that, but I had also lived in Chile when I was in high school. It was actually very soon after my mom caught me drinking. I also got caught with pot coming out of that grounding. And then she like invited me to leave home for a while.
Bro, you got sent away, dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Invited me She's like, here's your stuff and you can go.
Yeah, she wanted to send me to a boarding school, but didn't have the money. So it was like, just go to Chile where we got some family. But my family knew I was a psychopath, so once I got there, no one took me in. So I ended up living alone.
No way. Yeah. What the fuck? You moved to Chile and just you were homeless? Like what?
No, so like my mom did help. She would send me $400 a month, and the peso was ridiculous at the time.
Yeah.
So $400 a month would pay for rent, food, and drugs. Like lots of booze and cigarettes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Lots of booze and cigarettes. And so it's like it kind of got, and I was enrolled in a school there too. So like that kind of kept me on track.
So like at 15, you were just a full-on adult living in Chile.
I mean, I wouldn't say I was an adult, but I was living an adult person's life.
Yeah, like you weren't an adult. You weren't an adult up here. You were alone.
But I was put in the position of like someone who had just graduated college, essentially.
What the fuck?
But so when I lived there, it's a very different like gene pool there. So I'm like 5'10" and a half or whatever. And at the time I was probably like 190-ish or something. And I was like the third biggest kid in my senior class. Like there was one kid that was like 6'1", one dude that was 6'3", but everyone there was like kind of my height or smaller. So fighting was just, and also it's a Latin culture there. So fighting was more common. Then as I moved back to America, and I'm now not the biggest guy, and also fighting is a little bit more frowned upon. It took me a while to kind of lose enough either fights or respect to like realize that I needed to make a change. And the ayahuasca helped with that, because I had the whole first part of it was like pretty rough, and it was like just literally hell. It was I was like mountains and rivers of fire, and it was just like everywhere I turned was darkness. There were like hooded figures that were staring at me and stuff. But then as it went on, I started seeing like all the scars on my hands and stuff like that, and it like hit home, and like in that moment it was like, what happened? I was like kind of like almost like an uncle or something. It was like, what happened to you? It was like, you used to love playing guitar. You're like a kid that makes arts and crafts bracelets. Like, what are you doing getting into fights? It's like your hands are not meant to be fighting. They're meant to be creating. And that kind of like, that was the first step of kind of my journey. I first got back into music, like really heavily, and writing. And then after a couple years of that, that's how I started writing comedy. And then like, that's how I ended up doing comedy.
As well. Yeah. Damn, dude.
But so I really like ayahuasca for that reason.
You are the first person that has made me go, maybe you started scaring me for a while. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, fire, rivers and shit. No, not my thing. And then you're like, wow, there's a beautiful story at the end where I came and embraced myself.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I want to go through the fire and shit to get there, but
I mean,
that was the closest that I felt being like, okay, I could mess with some ayahuasca. How long is the trip for ayahuasca?
It was like
trip, right?
That was like 12 hours.
No, fuck me. Back on the other team. We're staying away from it.
You were like, I was right there.
You almost had me, dude. I'm like, yeah, I could fall in love with myself again. No, 12 hours. Fuck. No.
You have a family. You can't do anything for 12 hours.
Day, bro? Yeah, I can't. What? 12 hours? No. That's a hellscape, dog.
Yeah. No, it was a long day. That was
God.
And granted, I ended up with a very good experience, but one of my friends had a very bad experience the whole way through. He had like almost drowned as a kid.
Whoa.
And we were like camping out by a creek.
Oh, no.
And he just, because the water was like close, but we were nowhere near it, but he just thought he was in the water drowning the whole time for 12 hours.
That's a long drowning, bro. Yeah. Drowning on average is 30 seconds.
Right. And then it ends.
And then it's over. 12 hours.
Yeah.
Just be like, no. Fuck. Now I'm definitely on the side away from the hallucinogenic. All right, I'm sticking with my weed, man.
Right, yeah,
I'm not gonna touch that shit. All right, it's another point to staying away from it.
But I also respect I think psychedelics are like so popular now, but I do think that not everyone needs to have a true like soul breaking like experience to actually correct their behavior or see what their internal processes are doing. Like some people can just get that from their own life experience or learn from their mistakes very simply. But some of us,
you're like, I have to be broken. Some people learn, and I had to be destroyed and broken down and built anew from a 12-hour trip.
I had to be reminded that inside I am broken down to the tiny little half queer art boy that I am.
God damn, dude. All right, let's get to your drinking story.
It was funny. The drinking story is going to completely destroy this whole no fighting thing.
I became an artistic, awakened spirit, and then I started fighting again.
It was for a good reason. No, it wasn't. So I got stabbed in the throat after an open mic.
Whoa, stabbed in the throat?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right there at the base of my neck. When I did the story on stage, I'll do it for
after an open mic. What did you say?
So I wish it was something even that I had said on stage, but it was just because I'm an asshole and can't leave things be.
This is a lesson for the open micers out there. Don't do crowd work. All right, guys.
Yeah. Save that for shows where there's security.
Leave it for the shows where somebody can save you afterwards. Right? All right. So you got stabbed at an open mic.
Yeah. So it was after the open mic.
Okay.
And what I ran an open mic off of Belmont and Pulaski in Avondale.
Okay.
This was 2018. 2018, 2019. And it was a pool. It was like where the pool guys went. Yeah. But my roommate was the bartender there, and he kind of smoothed things over with the owner. It was mostly like a cash bar, kind of like a bunch of shady guys used to go there and play pool. But after a while, they'd kind of wait until after the mic to like kind of come in and start fucking around, because they just knew there was more of us. So like not even from a violence perspective, just we could be more annoying than you.
Yeah.
So this dude, one of the regulars, his name's George, but he's Puerto Rican. His name's actually Jorge, but he goes by George. Right. So sometimes I call him Puerto Rican George to be silly. Which
Puerto Rican George. That's so good.
It's a story about getting stabbed in the throat. You got to be silly sometimes. And Puerto Rican George one week so I was there with the girl I had been dating.
Okay.
And she came to the open mic and we were like, kind of like just having this feeler out conversation. Like, hey, have you like stopped being the asshole you were when we were dating? And I was like, no. We're meeting at an open mic. Obviously my priorities are still skewed. But he came in hammered and like I'm sitting there with her and he just walks up to her and starts hitting on her, like puts his arm on her back and is like doing that arm around the back and head around the corner thing. And he's like talking and like drunk out of his mind, like making almost no sense. And I look over and she was like, no, I got this. And I was like, okay. So I go to talk to the bartender a little bit. And then I'm like looking back and I was like, you want me to? And she was like, no, I got this. And like happened a few times. And then she was finally like, okay, I need some help. He's like, not. Yeah. And so I just kind of like grabbed him up, like almost a bear hug, but like not angrily. But I was like, hey, George, let me buy you a beer. Let's go over here.
Oh, yeah. Like the like, I'm showing you that I have a presence around you to like,
right.
Come on, let's.
But I'm being nice. Let me. I clearly can fuck you up.
This can get bad,
right?
But right now we're being cordial. Like, let's move. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. George is like, oh, you got another thing coming, buddy.
Oh yeah. He's like, oh boy, it has to be. He's like, well, because also I'm involved. So, so bought him a drink and a shot and whatever. And then he left. And we finished the open mic. Girl leaves, and I'm now it's just me hanging out with the bartender, just having drinks afterward because I could drink for free. So why not have as many as possible?
That's the limits,
right? Yeah. We're past 6 on that this point. And George came back in with a bunch of his buddies to play pool and stuff like that. They're hanging out at the bar, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with George a little bit. And I was like, hey, George, I was like, can I tell you a joke? I got a joke for you. And he was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, so I don't know if you want me to do it in here, but like, I just screamed at him in Spanish. I was like, hijo de puta concha tu madre que te parió. And like, I was like, fuck you, fuck your whore mother. You're I was like, you fucking asshole. You're the reason that people hate Latinos.
Whoa.
I was like, I went completely nuts.
Yeah.
Went completely nuts. And then I made...
Did he laugh?
Yeah. Funny, right? It'd be hilarious. He's like, that was good.
Now you must die.
Yeah. So, and I don't. This is my old big guy ego kicking into play because I did that clear instigation, and then I was turned around and I put on my backpack to go leave. I was like, I've solved things.
Those
right?
are fighting words.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. But ego.
Yeah.
And I put on my backpack and I'm like, I turn around to go walk out the door and he punched me square in the back of the head.
Dang.
And I turned around and I completely destroyed this guy for a bit. Damn. And got him on the floor and was like railing him. I was winning. Yeah. So the way so every man in my family on my mom's side of the family was in ballet their whole lives and ended up like a ballet instructor at some point. But my mom wanted a masculine child. So she put me in figure skating.
Nothing's more masculine than doing ballet on ice.
No, yeah. It's like just because you got knives attached to your feet doesn't mean that it's any like you're still wearing leotards.
Yeah, and you're doing ballet on ice.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just more difficult ballet. Like that's all you do.
Yeah, it's ballet where your nuts are more shrunk. But I got bullied a lot for that. And that I kind of developed a bit of that, like this light switch flip of like, I just go into like a blind, absolutely blind rage. And like when he popped me in the head and it was like that, I mean, granted, I totally instigated this, but
for sure did.
But I was like, you're the wrong one in the wrong.
How dare you retaliate in a completely appropriate way?
Like, yeah, honestly, it should have just been like, fair on. I should have bought him another drink and be like, we're equal now, I think.
That meme, me dealing with the consequences of my actions. Yeah, this is all on you, bro. Yeah.
Keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I was getting the best of it and was I was like not gonna stop. Yeah. And one of his buddies came and like grabbed my arms, and the George dude just kind of like did a spaz and got out from under me and took off out of the bar. And I got the dude off my back and I go out and I chase him.
Chased him?
And yeah.
Jeez, bro.
Well, it's lunatic brain. It's blind,
off,
absolutely blind. I'm not thinking about any consequences to this whatsoever. But he also outruns me because I've been smoking at least a pack a day of cigarettes for 25 years. So after like a block down Milwaukee, I give up and I'd see him like get into a car and drive away. And I get back into the bar and I start yelling at the bartender because I was like, you didn't help break anything up. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, you're like the only line of defense here and you're my friend.
Blame other people.
Yeah, of course. I'm still drunk.
Yeah,
I haven't. It's not
Yeah,
tomorrow morning yet to where I'm sending apology texts. I'm still in the wrong, and my brain is trying to find ways to justify it.
Right.
But he was like, "Don't worry about me." He's like, "You should go and check yourself out in the mirror right now." And I was like, "Fuck you and fuck the mirror," and I was like, "I'm out." And so I didn't even register that anything had happened.
Yeah.
And I got outside and it was raining and I started to feel a little sting on my neck. And I zipped up my coat. I wasn't processing, went to go zip up my coat and then my zipper hand covered in blood.
Oh my
completely covered in blood. And I was like, maybe I got George better than I thought or something like that. And again, still angry. I realize my cell phone had died during all of this, and I spent all my money at the bar and whatever. A cab, I managed to hail a cab.
Bloody like you just killed somebody.
Well, thanfully I had a North Face on, and it was bleeding in between the shirt and the North Face, so couldn't see, and so he didn't know. I really didn't know what was going on because I got in the cab and so I'm not close with my dad. And up until the situation in Gaza, I'd actually kind of had an issue with most Palestinian people. Because they at least the men can be very aggressive with me if they find out that I am not close with my dad. Because respect and familial respect is very big. And I don't know how, I think the guy just must have known, seen from something in my features. He was like, "Are you Middle Eastern?" And I was like, "My dad is, but I'm not really, I go by my middle name." And he gets on to, he was like, "You have to go by the name you were given. That's an important name and stuff." It's all this. And now I'm screaming at this guy. I was like, "You don't know my life." I was like, "My dad left her when I was 1. I was like, "Fuck all you guys." And I was like, "Let me out. Fuck it. Let me out." I get out of the cab, and at this point, it was probably 15-minute walk from my house. Yeah. So I'm screaming all the way home.
You're not getting lightheaded at this point?
No, it's coming up soon. Okay. But I think literally anger was just fuel. And I am bipolar, so when I flip into that manic mode, I don't even think you feel pain or anything like that. So, and if I was probably just steaming so hard that maybe I was starting to get drained, but I was it's no, we're going to power through this and be a complete asshole to everyone. Yeah. So got home and then I took off my jacket and I saw that there was a cut in the neck of my jacket and I was like, "Oh shit, this is bad." And I saw my shirt was starting to get a little bloody, but now I'm starting to come down and everything, all the weight of everything that's happened to me is starting to come on, but not thinking necessarily about bleeding or anything, but I'm I'm an asshole. I'm a piece of shit. I ruin my life constantly. I have no self-control. I'm an alcoholic. And I sometimes have played with the idea of suicide. Mm-hmm. And so it got kind of dark mentally there. Yeah. And I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'll just I'm not going to take care of this. I'm like, I'm just going to let it happen. If it's my time, it's my time. I'm tired. I'm like, clearly I'm probably not a constructive member of society. And like, I don't know what it was, but like after a while I was like, you know what, but I wouldn't respect myself if I didn't at least like try.
Yeah.
So, and like, I kind of put my hand up and it was bad, but I was like, I know what. I've seen movies. I've seen war movies. I know how to make a tourniquet.
Tourniquet on your neck. You're like, no, I'm just going to choke myself out. If I'm going to die, it's going to be on my hands.
Oh, man. I wish it had occurred to me to jack off while I was doing this, too. And then it gets confused. It's like he died hanging himself. It was like, no, he was healing himself.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if he died before or after. We did this in conjunction. I don't know what's good.
So I found a t-shirt that was like probably the least covered in cum in my room. And I wrapped it, around my neck, and I found like a pen to like twist it and get it real tight. And then I was like, cool, problem solved. And then I started like fucking just blacking straight out because I cut off all the circulation in my head. And I was like, okay, this really is bad. Let me go to the mirror and see what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And I go into the bathroom, and there's just a upside down triangle right in the base of my neck, and I can see into my throat. And in a fucking instant, all that suicidal shit went away.
Like, no, I don't want to die.
I was like, oh boy, do I want to live.
I never wanted to live more in my life.
I'm so scared of death. No. This is bad. Yeah. But it was like, there's still like a little bit of like angry. I was like mad. I was like, fucking, I'm gonna die because of asshole. I was like, nobody kills me but me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is my decision to make, not yours. And so I was like, at that point, I started panicking, and I woke up my roommate with a yell where I don't know what I said, but I just started screaming. Yeah. And thankfully I did, because like literally my e-meter just crashed, because as soon as she opened the door and said, "What happened?"
Bam.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Completely out. And she took over the rest. She called the cops, thankfully, and not the ambulance, so I wouldn't get charged for the ambulance ride.
Thank you, America.
Yeah, this is our healthcare system. So yeah, at first she thought I had done it to myself because of me being a lunatic or whatever. Yeah. And the cops thought she had done it, and it was like a domestic dispute. And she's like, no, you ass, he just showed up with a fucking bloody hole in his neck.
Sure he did.
Yeah, two Middle Easterners living together. What could go wrong?
I haven't seen this one before, all right?
Yeah, especially it's in Chicago. You're like, I'm surprised it's not where all the cops live in Irving Park, but this is... And I call her. So I don't know if you ever watch old wrestling.
Yeah.
Like 80, like Bruiser Brody and like that era of shit.
No, I'm thinking
there's a wrestler called Bruiser Brody, and he got stabbed in Puerto Rico. Yeah. And one of the other wrestlers called Tony Atlas, like they took him to the hospital, and none of the doctors were paying attention. So Tony Atlas, he's a giant powerlifter guy, just picks up a doctor and like just puts him next to Bruiser Brody, and it's like, fix him. And that's us. Thankfully, my roommate was like able to like literally carry me out of the bath. She was a bigger girl, carried me out like Tina Atlas, and like managed to get me into the cop car, because they apparently couldn't do it on their own. And I'm out for all of this. So I see the hole in my neck. I'm like, oh boy, do I want to live. And then I wake up in the hospital.
Oh shit.
And then I've never been funnier in my life than the 10 hours I was in the hospital the nurses rolling, the cops rolling when they came to interview me and take my make the police report for all of this. Well, because it was like first I was like finding out what had happened throughout this, because like when I woke up, I didn't actually know what had happened. I actually thought it might have been something I had done myself.
Oh, so you forgot about the whole fight and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I had to, when I got in touch with my roommate Taylor, the guy that was the bartender, and he started filling me in, then things like started coming back and stuff. But like in the moment, and I like I said, like I've done some stupid shit to myself before, so I was like, maybe I did it, you know. Like, but I was like, also, I don't really know.
Yeah. You looked at the wound, you're like, this isn't my work.
I was like, right here, that seems too tough. I feel like I
wouldn't have done this.
No, I'm doing like the overdose route. Come on, I'm gonna have a fun one. But yeah, so it was like I was murdering throughout that whole police report. And my biggest frustration, honestly, out of all of this was that there was a really cute nurse that I could not break. She was the one I could not break. And when she was bringing me my clothes back, she forgot my pants. So like I put on all my clothes and I called her back. I didn't like show my gear or anything, but I called her back and I was like, do you know where my pants are? Because if not, I'm going to have to Winnie the Pooh walk my way out of here. And she chuckled at that. And I was like, oh, yes.
10 for 10, baby.
I was like, yeah, I'd have to stab myself until I get you to laugh.
Damn, dude, that is a fucking wild. When you text like, oh, I got to stab her, I'm like, don't tell me the details. I want to know. That is, I would not have imagined that being the stabbing story. That's fucking insane. That's also the first stabbing story on the pod, so congrats. We've done over 100 episodes, never had a stabbing.
Oh, that's actually surprising in the comedy scene.
A lot of fights, a lot of people pooping on themselves, all kind of stuff like that. Never had anybody get stabbed. So
yeah, well, probably never had anyone be as big of an asshole when they're drunk as I am.
I've had Bob Keane on the pods.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that is a fucking insane ass story.
He knows better not to scream at a Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, he's definitely knows his limits. He knows his limits. Damn. All right. Well, let the people know where they can find you on social media. All that shit.
You can find me at Hashem4Comedy on Instagram and Twitter, mostly Instagram.
Right. You want to spell that for the people?
Oh yeah, HASHEMFOR comedy. Hopefully you can spell that. Yeah. And then, yeah, my YouTube page is actually the same thing. So,
fuck yeah. All right. Yeah. So this has been a Drunken Night Out, y'all. Peace. Hell yeah. That was a good ass episode, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad you were laughing.